He will focus and come back even more determined. We never see Magnus Carlsen, well, I shouldn't say that. We rarely see Magnus Carlsen crumble.
Absolutely. And here we go, the game has started.
Yeah, and so far, early days, but it's a variation of the Queen's Gambit declined. And
Not accepted, that we saw in the first game.
Yes. So that is all about whether Black captured earlier a pawn on the c4 square. But he declined to take that pawn, and now by trading off here, okay, we go into the Tarrasch defense. This is maybe a bit rare nowadays at the top level. Black taking that pawn. There is something they call the, what is it? The Magnus Queen's Gambit? Yeah, the Dubov. He stopped Levon Aronian much earlier than he did in the previous game. Okay, he trades off for the Black Knight, and he really opens things up. Aggression, early aggression. Tell us, what is the most common in this position?
Well, both moves are equally viable, and this one has been played before. The top game there is actually by Iranian Grandmaster Parham Maghsoodloo. But, I mean, there were previous lines where they went to the right.
OK, instead, Levon... OK, this decision looks a bit odd. Yes, he grabs a pawn, but he allows this bishop to develop with tempo. I'm assuming Magnus will capture this knight. And after the knight is traded off, at least now it's much, much quicker for Black to castle. So you've kind of helped your opponent speed up their development. White is temporarily a pawn up. OK, Magnus does go for this trade. I'm not sure whether you castle first. You could go for a check, hitting the white king, and then just win your pawn back if you want to play safe. I think Levon Aronian, because he won the last game, he just wants to get to safety in this one.
And in game 2 against Liam Le, the bar is all the way over to Liam's side.
Whilst the players are having a think.
OK, David, over to you, sir.
I'm not sure whether it's bold at this point, but I'll say a teenager is going to win the tournament.
Oh, nice one.
I've got a 5 in 8 chance.
And
but wait
what
1 second.
just happened here?
Wait, really? Wow. And, OK, so the computer, we see the top stockfish moves. It confirms Black has a winning move. It's not king c8, which the computer says. It means castling queenside. So the Black king is going to castle queenside. We said it was too risky earlier, but now it just wins. Has he forgotten this is legal? I'm trying to work out why as well, Kaya. I guess it just creates a deadly pin. And if we jump into the game right now, we have to investigate. Actually, there's 2 strong moves. Even giving a check with the queen, which is also natural, that gives Black an advantage. But castling queenside wins on the spot. It is quite natural. What do you think, Simon?
Yeah, I mean, it is very natural. The rook comes into play. It pins the bishop. You get the other rook ready to come in as well. That might be a key thing. I mean, it looks so obvious to play this move. And is Magnus going to play it? I mean, I think he's spotted it.
100%.
I reckon 100%. I think he's seen it
for sure.
Definitely, he's looking at it and. Well, I mean, it's such an obvious move. Do you reckon Lev forgot that Magnus could castle?
Yeah, I think so, because somehow or other, you know, it wasn't possible before, and he plays it, and it's looking very bad
Take
for
a look
Levon.
at Levon now. Will he realise? Because why on earth did he then move his bishop if it was that bad?
Exactly.
Yeah. This is the problem with playing so quickly, right? I mean, Lev has banged out his moves again in a position without too much thought. He has castled here. You were just showing this line, David. I don't think that's going to save the piece, is it?
Doesn't look too difficult as well. It's kind of which piece is pinned? It's this bishop. So just come and attack it. That just wins immediately. Maybe the stronger moves. I mean, maybe you could attack it with your bishop as well.
The cowboy hat?
Yeah, that's it.
Same actor who played in Love Actually.
Yeah,
right?
that's like the kid in Love Actually,
When someone told me that, I was like, oh, wow.
And Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Black has won a piece. Magnus is winning this position. The White Queen has gone on a little adventure. She's won a pawn in the process. Looks like she can give 1 check to the Black King, but the Black King will just move very safely. And the problem is White has no backup. White has no second attacking piece. Black's bishop is actually, it's not just any bishop, it's a monster, as you guys pointed out. This is actually a killer threat as well. Bishop takes knight, ruining the white pawn structure. With that in mind, the white knight had to run away and it stepped back. But now, I mean, if you want, you could trade off the knights. You don't have to. It feels like the white king is actually in more danger than the black king, just because there's more pieces around it. But how does Magnus deliver the knockout blow? How does he, the coup de grace, as they say, go at the end of the game to finish things off? But Magnus, he's doing the right thing again. He's done the hard work, won a piece, and OK, he retreats.
could be a massive round of comebacks. Magnus, who lost in the first round to Levon, now with the black pieces, it looks like he's going to win this one.
Okay.
Grandmasters.
Bring him on, especially towards Simon.
Yeah.
What day of the week is it, Simon?
You know what? I honestly don't know.
Nor do I.
It's Thursday, guys.
Is it all right? Cheers.
think.
Yeah. One person who was coaching me at an event said to get your opponent's point of view, actually, if you stand up and you go and look around from the other side of the board, so you're always looking at it from your own point of view. Maybe if you're a really optimistic player, you're looking at it like from the white side, but there's a lot of moves in the game, but I don't think much has really happened. But if you just stand up and walk around, so suddenly you're looking at the board from your opponent's view, you can get a different kind of perspective on what's going on. So that's something you could try. I don't do that myself. I tried it and just found it really annoying, but you might want to give it a go. Any other little tips, David?
Yeah, I mean, a few things. I agree, just getting up, whether you look at it from your opponent's point of view or not. Sometimes if you get up, kind of splash water on your face, have a snack, have a drink, then come back, you see things differently, or you see something that wasn't previously there. Just take your mind off the board for a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes. Another thing that I've learned from commentating, previously my mind was just a jumble. It was just variation, and it still is sometimes, but I like to kind of take a step back and just think, okay, what would I do if I was commentating on this position? And actually that gives me another perspective. And I feel that's helped my kind of longer chess, my classical chess. So you need to make sure you take breaks. In rapid chess, you want to concentrate most of the time, but yeah, you need to pace yourself. Meanwhile, black is 2 pieces up on the board.
Like these guys say, you know, you're not objectively you're lost, but you're just winging it.
Yeah.
You're just freestyling, and you know, okay, fine, enjoy it.
Yeah.
And Magnus doing great things, because when your king is in trouble, we've always said time and time again, try and stop off queens.
And okay, the rook has captured the black bishop. Magnus doesn't look happy. And okay, he takes the queens off the board. The risk is removed, but maybe not as winning as he was. It's only a knight for 2 pawns now. Still winning, of course.
Still winning. I mean, I kind of like what he's... I mean, if he can just negotiate this little bit of mayhem that's happening here, there is still a bit of mayhem. Lev's doing a great job of just causing that mayhem, then obviously the piece will win the game. And it's often a good idea to give back material to get, you know, calm down your opponent's initiative. And how can Lev do anything here to confuse Magnus? I mean, he's got... OK, he's got this move. I like that move, so you don't get pinned. And you just got to mop up those pawns slowly, and I think it looks pretty easy now, to be honest. Yep.
Why didn't he just take the pawn? What am I not seeing?
I think that was a good move as well, Kaya. But he wants to keep the black king as safe as possible, and this white pawn is not running away anytime soon. So maybe he'll even use the black rook and go and capture that pawn, and the black king is entirely safe from the white rook, or the 2 white rooks. That was the only hope for Levon.
It's that fianchetto or fianchetto rook. You know, it's a very good piece, you know, if you can get that in front of your king. And, well, OK, Magnus just centralising at the moment.
You know, now that this has become Simon's catchphrase, amongst other things, you know, we should kind of immortalise it in the Chess24 play zone. You know, every time you hit resign...
Just resign.
Just resign, you know, Simon comes up. Well done, you've resigned.
Yeah.
People will be so annoyed, you know, because it's horrible to resign anyway. And if you've got my face coming up, and no, that's not good. Not a good idea.
Or maybe if you're playing and then you ask the computer for tips, and the computer's like, "Yeah, you're done. Just give up."
But I like the idea of having a T-shirt that just says, "It's time to resign," and like you have your jumper on. Yeah, you're playing someone, and as the position gets pretty good, you're like you just take the jumper off, and it just says, "Time to resign."
Oh, I like it.
I like that. Yeah, I like
Classy.
that. I'm gonna,
So sadistic.
yeah, just resign now.
I want to be playing this game.
I've met a lot of strange people in the chess world. Definitely, I can't remember any who've made it clear. You know, they're like, you know, like this kind of thing. But I don't know. I probably have done though. I would have thought. So yeah, I don't know.
So he'd outplayed me. He had a winning position. My king was in the middle of the board, about to get checkmated, and he was just kind of sitting there like. Like, OK. And then he played one last move, and then I resigned instantly. I didn't even look at what the move was. And only after the game did I realise that he'd blundered, and I wasn't kind of drawing or anything again. I was still kind of worse, but I was no longer losing, and I could have fought on, like, given some serious fighting chances.
Oh, no.
So it was just the body language. I just given up mentally, and I mean, that's no fault of his. He didn't realise it was a kind of a mistake either. But yeah, I shouldn't have trusted the opponent. That's why you've got to focus on the board, not the player.
Absolutely.
All he needs to do is trade off the remaining set of rooks, and black's extra knight will tell.
Must be so annoying for Levon getting a win against the world champion Magnus in the first game. That is not an easy thing to do, but then coming in game 2, white pieces. And it looks like it's going to be a loss. He has to start from scratch. 2 games to go in the rapid portion to win the match.
Yeah, it's a black day in this matchup, at least. Also, the matchup between Liam Lay and Hans Niemann, it looks like a day to be black. Black winning all of the games in those matches so far.
So, yeah.
I'm going to go and invent the unicorn opening next. Some other fiction.
Yeah,
How about hippo then? Controversial.
No, I mean, it's a very easy and nice opening to play. So it's got a lot of positives, like any opening does, really. He's got to be careful he doesn't lose too many pawns, but he's got enough, and he'll be winning another one very shortly, so it's just a matter of time. But there's so many arguments I see sort of online about that opening's rubbish, and players who say that are generally quite low rated. They say you can't play that opening, it's rubbish, and it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
So is Magnus still cruising here?
I think so. He's just won a pawn. The black knight cannot be captured because it's discovered check. The black rook suddenly attacking the white king. So the white king has to move and work on those endgames.
And Levon had to step the king down. That was the only way he could maintain his threat against the f7 pawn. Otherwise, the knight would have given a check. Oh, no, not a check, but threatened a check.
And the other way would also walk into...
skewer, right?
Yeah, the knight coming in, and if you take this pawn, then, OK, another knight fork, the knight could come along, or you could skewer the white king and rook. There's all sorts of tricks, because black has 2 pieces, white only has 1. And if we catch up with the game position, we might be seeing Levon Aronian resign any second. This is a check, and when the king moves, the black knight is going to go park itself in the middle of the board, defending this pawn, which defends this pawn, which defends this pawn, and you cannot get rid of this formation. Magnus is simply winning. He can defend his knight with his rook when he wants. This pawn will drop, and it's game over. Too much material. OK, Levon trying one final trick. The king moves. Now black can just defend his knight with his rook.
Suppose you can attack. You can move the knight if you really want to be flash, but this is safe. Yeah, just get the box on.
This is flashy Simon attacking the rook. Rook takes pawn and another skewer. Check, and you win the rook. But yeah, Magnus just doing it the simple way. Levon just keeping this pawn alive, but it's going nowhere.
You can see how determined Levon is today, though. Obviously, the way he's playing, he's really. This is a good sign for him, you know. After him struggling a bit in the qualifiers, it's going to be equal after this game. I think, unless something tremendously strange happens to Magnus. Yeah.
Yeah, with 5 minutes on the clock, I don't think we've ever seen Magnus throw something like this.
Not since he was like 5 years old or something. And even then, he was probably
he was in the pram. Throwing rooks out the door.
Here you go, have a rook.
Yeah, that extra black knight, it's found loads of kind of safe squares, outposts, and that's the key. If you can keep it on a safe square, you will win.
I think the rook's going to come and take that last pawn now. It's one simple. There's many ways you can win this, but. OK, Lev's trying, but...
You can take that white pawn now.
Yep.
You can bring the black rook back if you want to play safe. You give a check first.
Yep.
Maybe the king can snake its way to the right.
Stalemate tricks. If you take the pawn...
Oh, checkmate.
Checkmate beats stalemate.
That's true.
We have a checkmate.
We have a checkmate, the white king trapped.
Yeah, nice checkmate.
Oh, we rarely see that in chess. This is a comeback by Magnus Carlsen. Levon Aronian, he loses game 2.